Okay, well, first of all, thank you, Roy, and thank you to both Transport Events and Ballas Nedam for hosting this event. It's been very enlightening to hear from different leaders in the sector. So I'm going to focus on Nigeria, obviously, and the Lagos port environment. Today, one of the key challenges we are facing in this area are around port congestion. So I'm going to discuss both the longer term solutions that are in the pipeline and some of the short term solutions that are being developed. So let me know once you see my screen.
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay. So like I said, today in the Lagos port environment, one of the major challenges we have is port congestion. And like I mentioned, on the left there, you see one of the deep sea port projects that is being developed in the southeastern part of the country, the Ibom Seaport. So that's more what I'd call a long-term solution. And then on the right, and that's what I'm going to focus on more during this call, it's barging and inland container depots as a medium to alleviate the congestion problems we're having in the Lagos area. So generally, the infrastructure, there are significant infrastructure constraints around the Tincan and Apapa port areas in Lagos. Lagos is estimated around 20 million people city. It's grown very rapidly around this port area. And today, the road networks and infrastructure put significant limits to the amount of cargo that we can handle via roads. So like I mentioned, part of the solution is going to come from long-term projects. And Mr. Rosan from CMA spoke about the Lekki port. There's also the Ibom deep sea port I just mentioned, and the Badagry deep sea ports. So all these three projects are at different levels of development, but should come to fruition over the next couple of years. The objective here is obviously to reduce the pressure on the Lagos ports and obviously accommodate larger vessels. But while we wait for these projects to develop, we still need to be able to manage the growing traffic within Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the fastest growing countries, at least in terms of population, in Africa, in the world. So we know that the trade is going to increase. So some of the short-term solutions are going to be provided by the public sector. So today they're working on improvement of the road network, and there are also ongoing reforms of the different public stakeholders, be it the Nigerian Port Authority, the Nigerian Customs Services, to name a few. And then there's also contributions from the private sectors, which is development of inland container depot facilities that are ideally accessible by barge. And why by barge? Because like I mentioned, the road networks are problematic. So finding ways to evacuate cargo straight by barge definitely helps relieve that bottleneck. The whole objective of this is obviously to avoid significant costs that the different stakeholders in the industry carry or incur. As terminals, we bear pressure from our clients, consignees, shipping lines, and governments that all push us to make cargo available as quickly as possible. And the congestion we face definitely has impacts on our operational efficiency. Shipping lines incur costs because there are delays linked to waiting time at anchorage for their vessels. And there's also another cost where today in Nigeria, there is a significant number of empties that cannot be evacuated because they're not able to make it back to the ports. And then, of course, last but not least, for the importers, the delays have an impact on them receiving critical cargo, be it raw materials for industries or manufacturers or finished goods. And generally, the whole uncertainty in the supply chain process makes it more complex for them to handle, and obviously has bottom line impacts, increasing their need for working capital. So part of what's going on at the moment, and has been going on for the last 2-3 years. So in orange here on my map on the left, you see where the seaports are located today. And then the purple points are some of the inland depots that are being developed. Some are already completed, others are in the pipeline. As you can see, all of these are near the waterways. So the idea here is once we discharge mother vessels into our ports, we can quickly put cargo onto barges that can be taken out of the Lagos area, thereby reducing the bottlenecks that we face on the street, on the roads. So that will help us as ports increase our throughput capacity. It will help the shipping lines evacuate empties because the containers can leave, the imports are going to leave the ports and go to the ICDs, and vice versa. Empties can come from these locations more easily into the port area. And then obviously for customers, they will get their cargo quicker. Today, it takes about 7 days for a truck that is loaded. Once it gets out from the terminals, it takes about 7 days to get to its destination or to leave the Lagos traffic. So that's obviously a significant impact on importers and on the economy as a whole. There are a few unknowns or things that are being clarified at the moment regarding these barge solutions. Part of it is we've been engaging with the different port authorities to have a framework around cargo movement by barge. What has happened recently is with these constraints, a lot of players have jumped into the market and there is a need for coordination. So we've had several stakeholder meetings with the Nigerian port authorities, the NIMASA, to see how best to monitor this. And then obviously there will be a whole question around the value sharing and capturing around these ICDs and around the whole barge movement. Who operates all of this? Is it the terminals? Is it the shipping lines? Is it third parties? What we're seeing today, it's probably a mix of all these different players. So yeah, I think we've seen very good trends. Things are getting better in that direction, and we're doing all we can as a company, as a group, to support different players who approach us for this. So thank you very much.